Okay. Hi, everybody. It's Anne with Modern, and I'm sitting not across from, but in virtual space here with Joanne Magana. Joanne is a coach, a consultant in the salon industry. Thank you so much, Joanne, for jumping in.
Thank
Uh,
you.
we were talking a little bit before, and let's just jump into this. We were talking about this is such a challenging time for stylists, for the world. It goes without
Mhm.
saying. But what you were saying really gave me a lot of hope and inspiration because you were talking about within this sort of chaos, there's a lot of opportunity. And can you talk a little bit about what you see this is going to look like, how this is going to maybe transform the industry and how we can't help but be transformed by it?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This is a unprecedented time. We never thought in a million years we'd be here and the horribleness of it all. But I believe that this is a huge opportunity, especially for the world and especially for our industry, to be able to take a look at things of how we were doing things, because I believe that maybe the way that some businesses or some stylists or salon professionals were doing things, that um, you're not going to be able to do it that way when we get back to normal. Because when this will end, and when it does, it's going to be like they're going to be so busy, right? And so I think there are some things that definitely they can take an opportunity doing right now for themselves personally and for their business when this gets back to normal, because it will.
What personally do you recommend they be doing right now? And of course, it's hard to separate the personal from the professional, but personally, what can they be doing? I know we talked about how stylists are givers. They're
Mhm.
constantly giving to other people, but maybe this is a time when they can kind of nourish themselves and get replenished. So what can they do personally, and what should they be doing maybe professionally to look at their personal brand?
I think right now living by your values is really huge and key in who you are and your purpose and your clarity. I think in everyday life, I felt like before this happened, I don't know about everybody else, but I felt like the world was just going so fast, and like we just can't slow down. And we are forced right now to pause and slow down and have uncomfortableness and have a lack of control
Wow.
on things that are happening, but we have things that we can control, right? So I said this, slowing down doesn't mean that you don't do anything. Slowing down just simply means that you focus more on what you're doing. So personally, I would, take a look at, we're in the second quarter of the year, and right now they have the time, if they've not set any income goals, how can they market themselves now, rebrand themselves? It's a perfect time to do that. It's a perfect time to do that.
Yeah.
Um, so personally, they can get some clarity and do some self-reflection on themselves and taking care of themselves in
How
that
can
area.
they reach out to their clients and in a
Uh,
way that maintains that connection, but doesn't sound overly aggressive? I mean, our clients, hairdressers clients become like family, so there's already a
mhm.
connection there. But what do you suggest they do right now?
Everybody's it operates differently, but we have social media. It's such a huge tool. And so my suggestion would be to reach out to them, reach out to their clients. I believe in giving them total support right now because we can't get our hair done, correct? And so there are a lot of things that they can show them that they can do to prepare their hair, to get it in great condition. So when they do come in the salon. So
Oh,
consumers want support. They want to be educated and they want support. That's what they want. So I would, if I was them, that is exactly what I would be doing. How to use conditioning treatments and how to get your hair in um, great foundation for them to work on when they return to the salon.
that's a great suggestion. I haven't heard that before. The thought of, preparing that canvas or keeping it in good shape so that there's not so
Hmm.
much work to be done on it. You mentioned too that you had somebody you coached uh, through a video. You suggested they do a video for a client. Talk about how that resulted in retail sales.
Yes, thank you. Well, she asked me, she says, I have clients contacting us me in the salon and wanting to know about what color they can get. And she said the first thing that really hit her that was like an aha is she was shocked that they were asking her that. So it was a realization of how am I viewed as a professional in that area. But let's go to solution, because you are a solution expert. So I suggested that she do a video and put it on social media to contact her clients and give them a source of solutions of what they can do to their hair. And she says it really pushed her out of her box, but now she's ready to do more. She says it took me 3 hours, Joanne, to do this video, but it was really great. She did a blowout video. It generated $320 in retail from that video.
Terrific.
Yes. And despite being closed for
Oh, we had a little hiccup. Can you still hear me?
the last 10 or 11,
There we go. Oh, connectivity. You're not my friend.
oh, technology. There you are.
There you are. Then there you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was all good news. I mean, you
Yeah.
talked her through doing something that was a little new, but like you said, we have a little more time now. If, I mean, I'm still working, you're still working, but at the same time, we don't have, our days aren't bookended with commutes or, running around to appointments. So we have a little bit more time to be a little more intentional with things. So
Mm-hmm.
like putting together a video and working yourself through that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I like, you mentioned the clients requesting um, certain services from stylists and how, stylists are licensed professionals. This is a time to sort of reestablish, that not reestablish that credibility, remind everyone of that credibility, of all that time and energy spent in education, in licensing, in
Mm-hmm.
testing, in advanced education. How are you telling stylists right now to really, uphold that degree of professionalism?
Yes, I know. I've seen this all across social media, as probably you have, as far as how to handle that. And I certainly don't want to tell people, be the person that says this is the way to do it. I come from a point of my stand and what I believe. One of my favorite mentors and speakers is Brene Brown, and it takes courage to be brave and to speak up. And I believe that they have a license for a reason. I have the utmost respect for them. And I think that our country's been not very serious. And now we're in a state of seriousness to where we look at experts, for instance, like Dr. Fauci, and we look up to them to get the expert results and know that it comes from a true source. And so there's a huge opportunity for the salon industry to be looked at as that expert that they are as far as knowledge. So I would sometimes what is happening, what I see are people are not being proactive, and they're being reactive instead of responding. So we have a huge opportunity in how we show up and how we respond. And your guests, your clients are looking to you for that knowledge. So show them how much you appreciate them and how much you miss them. Be a source of knowledge for them and how they can maintain their hair and wait for you to get their color done. I believe, I can't go anywhere anyway. And there's a bigger message of what is going on in the world right now
Yes.
than that.
Yes. So I wrote something about the hashtag Show Us Your Roots campaign, but as I did it, I was very aware that there are people who don't have the luxury of staying inside and hiding their roots, that there are people on the front lines, our medical professionals, our grocery store workers,
Mm-hmm.
our sanitation workers. There are so many people that are showing up for us. And I know you have a very personal connection there. I don't know if you feel like sharing that, but if you do, why don't you tell us yours?
Yes, I have a son that is a nurse. My mom's a retired nurse, and I have a medical background in my past. So my son is a traveling nurse and took a position in Washington in January. So Washington was an area that was he works in the emergency department that was hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
And he FaceTimed with the family the other night to let us know that he's going to be going to New York in a week or so. Um, so I'm very, very proud of him, and I know that that's his heart, and he wants to give. And at the same time, as a mom, I'm very worried about him. But they are in dire straits and dire need over there. They're asking licensed professionals to come out of retirement to help. That's how much it's needed. And so he's going to be doing that. And somebody saw my post on Facebook about that. And somebody I used to volunteer with here in San Diego at a homeless shelter for children for 5 years. And she said, I live right in the city. I'm quarantined with my boyfriend, and I would love to give your son my 1-bedroom apartment so he could be comfortable, because Matthew wasn't sure right now where he was going to stay. He said, I think they have hotels opened that they're going to open up for us. So I contacted him yesterday, and he is just over the moon, blessed.
That's so moving. And right there, you just showed that the power of that connection. You had this relationship with this woman a few years ago, and she saw you on social media, saw your post on Facebook, and reached out to help your son. That's beautiful.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'll close with something we were also talking about when we have traveled through this a little further. I mean, I was saying when we come out the other side, but I've stopped saying that because we're just walking through it. We don't know if there's going to be another side, what that's going to look like. It's just reality. But you were talking about your thoughts on maybe organizing some sort of event to give back for the professional beauty, to give back to those people that put themselves in harm's way to protect us.
Yes, I think, we're an industry that already gives as it is. And I think this is a perfect opportunity. Of course, it might be an event. I talked to a client. She says, I'm going to do it like 3 months, probably after we get back going. She's in Virginia Beach, and they cannot open until June. And so I think this is a huge opportunity for our industry to be able to have some events and give back to all the grocery store workers, all the people that have been on the front line. And it's a way to show your brand off and to get, clientele, because people are worried about retention and who are they retaining. And so you've got to be proactive in what you're doing. And I think right now people are having to pause and be quiet.
Yeah.
And be still. And the connection that you're going to have with your client when we navigate through this and get through it is going to be even stronger than I feel that was before. So if you're trying to build, this is a huge opportunity for a salon or stylist to be able to do that. Put gift cards, go hand them out to a hospital, go hand them out to a grocery store, wherever. But let's pull together and see what we can do.
Right.
Support them and say thank you.
And say thank you. You're right. And thank you. I'm so grateful that you took time to talk to us. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your passion for the industry and also your experience in the industry. So thank you, Joanne. And I wish you well. I'll be thinking about your son too.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I wish you all well too. And thank you so much for this.
Welcome. Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.